A federal judge has ruled that New Jersey's assault weapons ban is unconstitutional, sort of, in that he ruled that banning AR-15s is unconstitutional, but not the rest of it, and he was not too happy to even make that decision. Keep watching for the details. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We got a little bit of good news, bad news out of a federal district court this week when it came to New Jersey's assault weapons ban. The short version is that the judge complained about pro-gun extremists while admitting that the ban is unconstitutional under Bruen and Heller, though he did uphold the state's mag ban. The decision was actually the decision in 3 lawsuits challenging the constitutionality of the New Jersey law, where the state argued that an 1830 ban on Bowie knives was their historical analog under Bruen. The judge was unmoved, saying that under Heller the AR is in common use and thus can't be banned. But he was, shall we say, less than thrilled. U.S. District Judge Peter Sheridan wrote that it is hard to accept the Supreme Court's pronouncements that certain firearms policy choices are off the table when frequently radical individuals possess and use these same firearms for evil purposes. He went on to say, "Where the Supreme Court has set forth the law of our nation, as a lower court, I am bound to follow it. This principle, combined with the reckless inaction of our governmental leaders to address the mass shooting tragedy afflicting our nation, necessitates the court's decision. For these reasons and those below, the AR-15 provision of assault firearms law is unconstitutional. The LCM, Large Capacity Magazine, amendment is constitutional." So he went through some pretty big mental gymnastics to be sure that his decision was limited to ARs due to the common use principle, but he argued that since the plaintiffs mostly focused on ARs instead of all the other guns affected by New Jersey's assault weapons ban, that was the only specific part of the ban that he could rule on. It's a strange take, one that I feel is purposefully obtuse and contrarian to limit the scope of the ruling and make it as narrow as possible, but at least it does give future lawsuits another foothold in securing Second Amendment rights the way they were intended. But things got especially weird when it came to the part about the standard capacity magazines. He agreed that mags fall under the category of arms and are therefore subject to Second Amendment protections, but before I tell you how he somehow twisted this to uphold the ban anyway, I would like to take a moment to tell you guys about a really cool service that I learned about a few months ago that is basically like a savings account and subscribe and save service for ammo all rolled into one, and it's pretty amazing. Ammo Squared helps you stay stocked up on ammo automatically with a set it and forget it approach that lets you pick your calibers, your monthly budget, and how often you want it shipped, so you never have to worry about ammo shortages locally or online ever again. You can store it with them and have it shipped when you need it, and even sell it back if you decide that you don't want it anymore for some reason. Like an Ammo 401k or Ammo Savings account, customers can save up ammo for that rainy day when store shelves go empty and ammo is scarce. There is no minimum to buy, you don't even have to buy a full round at a time. No membership fees, and all ammo is factory new from brands that you trust. So thank you to Ammo Squared for providing such a really cool service. So on to the topic of ammo. Ammo goes in mags, and the judge claimed that neither Bruen or Heller apply to mags, claiming they didn't need common use or historical analogs because the design for detachable mags wasn't patented until 1847 and wasn't in wide circulation until the late 19th century. He also said that in 1920, some states regulated mag size, and so he relied on those laws for his ruling. He also relied on a previous Third Circuit ruling about mags, saying Bruen hadn't affected that decision either. Short version, he said, because the mags didn't exist when the founders were around, the historical analog requirement somehow doesn't exist. He further said that the mag ban is constitutional because it only limits rights rather than stopping them. The LCM amendment passes constitutional muster because although the Second Amendment right is implicated, this regulation is in line with the historical regulations within the tradition of our nation. Put more precisely, the reduction of capacity is a limitation on firearms ownership. It is not a categorical ban preventing law-abiding citizens from exercising their Second Amendment rights with a weapon that is in common use for self-defense. He also argued that mags over 10 rounds increase the lethality of mass violence events, and he claims since the purpose of the law is to limit those events, he finds that the law should stay in place. And this guy was a George Bush appointee. And now, because of the way that he worded this opinion, there's also competing opinions out there as to whether or not the ruling applies to only Colt ARs or all ARs. AmmoLand and Bearing Arms, which are two of the big firearms news sources, seem to think that he applied it only to that one specific make and model, while other outlets say otherwise. The confusion here is because he wrote, "The information presented to the court focuses largely on one specific type of firearm, the AR-15, and given the variety of firearms regulated in the assault firearms law and the nuances that each individual firearm presents, the court's analysis of the assault firearms law is limited to the firearm with which the court has been provided the most information, the AR-15. The question before the court therefore concerns New Jersey statutes, inclusion of the Colt AR-15 in its enumerated list of assault firearms, hereinafter the AR-15 provision, with these very important footnotes. Although the court refers to the firearm as the AR-15, the precise firearm defined as regulated within the AR-15 provision is the Colt AR-15. The full text of New Jersey statute includes two firearms in its full text, the Colt AR-15 and the CAR-15 series. Even where the disputed provision lists two firearms, the court's analysis of the AR-15 provision focuses only upon the AR-15. For example, he has an entire section on ARs for self-defense. Evidence has been presented to the court that the build of the AR-15 makes it well suited for self-defense because it's lightweight, has very mild recoil, and has good ergonomics. It is a weapon which is well suited to younger shooters, female shooters, and other shooters of smaller stature. He adds that the AR-15's design features, including the effectiveness of its cartridge for self-defense use and its better continuity of fire when used with available magazines, make the AR-15 a good choice for self-defense. And he notes that the AR-15 has been used recently in several relatively high-profile self-defense incidents in Florida, Illinois, Texas, Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma. But then he wrote this section. The AR-15 provision of the assault firearms law is unconstitutional as applied to the Colt AR-15 for use of self-defense in the home. The judge also stayed his ruling for 30 days, giving New Jersey time to appeal it to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, who has ruled against guns in the past. FPC has also filed an appeal on what they call legal deficiencies in Sheridan's opinion. All right, folks, that is it for this video. We will see what happens at the Third Circuit, because of course it's going to go there. We'll see if it ends up going all the way up to the Supreme Court or not. It will be an interesting one to watch as SCOTUS has been kicking back a lot of two-way cases. We'll see. Anyways, I will be keeping an eye on it. In the meantime, please like, share, and subscribe. If you are new here, ring that notification bell, check your subscriptions, make sure I'm still on your list. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in and happy shooting.